Alright guys, so what we're going to do today is we're going to start some seeds. I got my Rockwell cubes already soaked in water. And I'm going to try a little something different. I'm going to use this bucket. And I'm going to put them in this bucket, and I got a grow light that fits right down in here, and then we're going to seal the top of it and see what kind of germination we can get out of that. And I just got to figure out how many I can fit in the bottom of this thing. Quite a few. So after you soaked your Rockwell cubes in water, what you're going to do is take your tweezers or whatever you're using and just hollow out this hole a little bit on all of them. Give you some room to put the seed down in there. And then you're going to take your seed. This one's a Serrano chili pepper. And we'll do a handful of these. Just dump some out here. Grab them with your tweezers. And put it in the Rockwell cube. Some people like to do 2 of them, but I prefer just 1. If it doesn't germinate, then I try again. I don't like to put 2-3 seeds and then have to trim it. Just seems like a waste to me. I'm not really worried about growing anything in under any time constraints, so I can afford to not have it germinate and lose a week here or there. Especially if you're growing something that grows quick. These are peppers, so these are for the long haul, and they really like the warmer climate, so if you're going to be growing them outdoors, it's a pretty limited amount of time in Indiana where you can grow them. And then we're going to do some cilantro. So I'm going to get this done, and I'll fast forward it to when I get them in the bucket. Alright, so there we go. We got them in there. We got all kinds of different plants, and if you notice, I have a couple sprouts that I put in there too, because I don't have a grow light to put them under, and I don't want to put them in. I don't have a good window, and it's still too cold really to put them outside. So we'll just have to pull those early if this works out okay. But the thing about having those small Rockwell cubes is you can fit a ton of them in here, but they're kind of a pain to kind of handle and get them all situated in there right and standing up straight. So there you go. And as far as what we've put in there, we've got tomatoes, big Thai pepper hybrid, cucumbers, cilantro, Serrano chili pepper. We got some green beans. That'll be interesting. Try to grow some green beans, hydroponics. I've really only ever grown lettuce and peppers, so we'll see. The cucumbers will be interesting too. Sweet corn, that'll be fun. We're going to try to grow some corn in hydroponics. I don't know how that's going to work. Have to figure out how to support the plant. And then we got a couple of jalapenos in there too. So big smorgasbord. I didn't mark any of them. I'm not really worried about it. I can figure that out later if it's even an issue where they are fighting each other. So by the time they get to a certain maturity, you'll be able to tell, obviously, and sort them however you want. So this is how it's gonna happen. I'm gonna put the light in, hang the light up over top of it, and then seal it up with some plastic and a bungee cord, and to keep the moisture in. And I'm gonna put a little bit of water in there. Alright, so here we go. We got our light. We got a little piece of PVC. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this PVC through the little hanger bracket like this. So it hangs there. And then we're gonna take our bucket and we're just gonna hang it like that. Just like that. This is an LED light, so it doesn't build up a lot of heat. But if it was something that built up a lot of heat, you would want to think twice about this. So we'll get it centered decent where we want it. And then we grab plastic, just a little bit of leftover plastic, another project, and wrap that around there. And then we'll take our trusty bungee cord and try to wrap this thing up. Pull this kind of tight. That way you got a good decent seal. And leave it there. We'll keep an eye on it, check it periodically, and see what kind of germination we can get. Hopefully it works out. I feel pretty good about it. Alright, so we're about, I think, like 4 days into it, and you can see how this is holding the moisture in nicely. And so we're gonna take this off and give a look at it. I don't expect much. It hasn't been very long, but I just want to check and see what's going on in there, and if I need to, how much I need to add water. Here's what we got. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we've got a few sprouts going up. Alright, well, we'll check up on it again in a few days. Alright, so we're at day 5, roughly. So we're going to get another look here and see what we got. Take the bungee cord off. You can see some of the moisture on there. We're probably going to need to add water at this point because we're losing a lot. Looks like a lot of it's evaporating. Take our light out. It's definite taking off there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We probably got a good 10 of them taking off right now. we still got a pretty decent amount of water in there. I'm probably just going to leave it and keep going like that. So hopefully we'll start seeing some more sprouts. But it might take some time. So we'll just keep going with it. Alright, so we're about 10 days in at this point. So let's see what we got. This plastic is doing a good job of keeping that moisture in. You can see that. But we've got a lot of sprouting up. And I would call this a pretty good success. I did put a lot in here. I did put a lot in here that I couldn't get to germinate in my windowsill. So I think those are probably just old bad seeds, and they're not sprouting. But it seems to me like the majority of the new ones that I put in have all sprouted and are doing really good. A couple of these I think this is some corn, and it's not it hasn't done much, just a little bit started up, but it's nice and green. It's got big leaves on it. I can see some of the, I was trying to do some green beans to see if they would germinate. So I was thinking about putting some in hydroponics, and they haven't sprouted, it doesn't look like. At least some of them haven't. But everything else that's new that I planted looks like it's taken off pretty good. You can see all these over here. All these over here look like this. This is a tomato plant, and it's doing really good. So there you have it, and I'll keep these in here for as long as I possibly can. I'll probably, at a certain point here, I'll probably wait a few more days, and then I'll thin them back out. With the ones that aren't germinating, I'll reseed them and try again, put them back in there. But it's worked out really good, and it's really effective use of the space, and the moisture's keeping in there. I haven't had to add any water to this, and they're all still really moist, and so I think it worked out pretty good. And if you didn't have any plastic, you could just as easily use a good grocery bag that doesn't have any holes in it, and it worked the same. So I'll leave a link in the description to the light that I'm using, the bulb that I'm using. It's just the light you can find at any big box store, or you can buy it online. I'll see if I can leave a link in the description. But the bulb is a full spectrum LED grow bulb. So, and it worked great as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to keep these in here until they're ready to transplant. And yeah, thanks for watching.